There is a pre-existing creative force in nature, right? You can see it. Acorns become oak trees. Sperm and eggs become humans, or what other animal does the sperm and egg thing? I don't want to get too technical on y'all. Right? It is life begets life. Our relationship with that force is what we call our creativity. It's what we call creativity. And the nature of that force is it always creates something from nothing. It is the transition from the formless, pre-existent energy of life, whatever way we think about that which is really difficult to articulate because an articulation is already a form. So how do you describe something that is not yet existent? Because you bring it into existence as you describe it. But language is what we got, right? But whatever that energy is, that transition from formless to form, which is natural, it is throughout nature. There is no reason to believe that it would not be part of human nature as well. How we relate to that, come on in, is creativity. And so the more we can see about that natural journey from formless to form, or that shift in form, what we would call transformation, where something goes from one form to another, that's our creativity. And there are sort of historical relationships that creative people, i.e. people that think of themselves as creative, or that society labels as creative, have to that force. And one of the classics is the Muse. The Muse and the supplicant, right? So the artist, the creative, is a supplicant to the Muse, to the divine, and tries to have such a relationship with the divine, to be so in love, to be so appreciative, to be so pleasing to the divine that the divine will grace you with an idea, with a thought, with a painting, with a sculpture, with a poem, with a song, with a new idea for your business, with whatever it is, right? That's one of the traditional relationships that people have. Another is people, and I don't know exactly what you'd call this, but they think of the creative force as something that they can call forth, sort of like Lear, evoking the winds. Blow winds and crack your like that somehow through our intent we can call forth this creative energy and bring it into being and summon it and work with it. And you got to be careful, right? If you've ever seen Mickey Mouse in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, try and mess with this, it can get out of hand, right? But that's another relationship that we have. It's this thing that we can invoke and evoke and do something. Some people have the relationship of a dancer to a piece of music. Right? Nietzsche said, "Those who danced were thought insane by those who could not hear the music." Well, we hear a music. We hear a music from somewhere beyond, from somewhere outside of our normal thinking. And we dance in response to it. We dance with our pen, we dance with our word, we dance with our paintbrush, we dance with a dance to the music that we hear. It isn't that one of these is right or wrong, but there has always been a relationship throughout time between the creator, the creative person, and some force that they either believe to be beyond them within them, natural to them, or foreign to them. But there's always a relationship between creator and creative force. And that's what I'm suggesting we use as a working definition for creativity during our time together. Now, that means that there are two elements to the creative process. I'll do it over here. Right? There is a receptive, feminine aspect to creativity. Something has to come to us. Something has to come up in us. Something has to come through us. And there is a creative masculine energy. We have to do something with it. We have to bring it into the world in some way, even if that's as a midwife to it, rather than the doer of it. This is just different ways that people think of it at different times. Now, if you look for yourself, you'll see that you probably are better at half of that equation. You may be someone who is always getting ideas and never really does anything with them. Well, that just means that you are very open to, receptive to, tuned into that aspect of creativity, of the creative force, of the creative process, of the process of bringing this formless energy into form, but not so practiced, skilled, habituated to actually doing anything with it. Or you may be somebody who's a doer, right? You do and you do and you do, but if you're honest with yourself, at times it's kind of uninspired. You get stuff done, but it doesn't feel very fresh. It doesn't necessarily feel very creative. Well, that's just an imbalance in that relationship. Now, you'll read books on creativity, if you read books on creativity, that say, oh, it's all about developing the receptive, right? It's all about opening up more. It's all about receiving ideas, and they'll teach meditation exercises. They'll teach various techniques for opening up to this energy. And those are very useful to the people who have that bit underdeveloped, and not so useful to the people who are really there. In fact, they tend to make it worse because you're bringing even more in and you're no good at getting it out, right? It's like a pipe that is open to water. If you've got the output blocked, getting more in isn't helpful. It actually kind of makes your head feel like it wants to explode because you got so many ideas and nowhere for them to go. But then there's also books about brainstorming and about just do it and about, who's that? W. Somerset Maugham. I only write when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 a.m. promptly, right? And those are the ones about just do it, and right? Well, those are very helpful to people who are kind of lost in the receptive mode because they activate the positive. But the people who are already just do it, just get on with it, it's not so helpful to them because they've already got the output part of the pipe open, but there's only a little trickle of fresh water that ever makes it into the pipe from the other end. So part of our relationship to this creative force is opening up both ends of the pipe, is opening up to more coming in while opening up to more being expressed. And at various stages, we all get stuck, right? At various stages in various areas. You may be completely open in whatever it is that you're good at, chances are you've got a really good flow, right? You're very open to insight and fresh thought and wisdom and creativity, and you're out there doing something with it. And the areas in your life where you feel not creative, one end of the pipe is blocked. And so just beginning to see that will begin to shift it. because it's simply oversight a lot of the time. It's simply not recognizing, wow, I have been running on fumes for a while now. Maybe that's why it feels like there's nothing fresh. Or, wow, I haven't expressed in a long time. Maybe that's why I feel kind of overfull, like I can't express, because there's so much in here I wouldn't know where to begin. Right? Discuss.